All right, so this is the last time I'm doing a broadcast today, and I see my little message saying that I am live. Okay, so we are four, and I want to say hi to Nick Leal Network. Nick Leal Network, thank you. I think this is the first time you come to a live broadcast. All right, I'm not going to repeat myself. The sound is now working. I'm very happy about this. Now, the reason I'm doing a broadcast and the reason why I was doing a broadcast yesterday is because I did not cover in my reviews one of the latest AMD products. And I'm, of course, refer to the X470 chipset as well as a new Ryzen 2700 and 600 series, the Zen Plus architecture. And it's a little bit confusing because it's not really the Ryzen 2 everybody's waiting for, but the Zen Plus architecture that AMD has just released. And let me say this: I'm always very exciting. Sorry, I'm always very excited to see new motherboards and new processor release because it means that the whole entire industry is trying to bring prices down and give us better and more powerful components for our computer, and that's pretty cool. Hi Tatan, how are you? Awesome, thank you so much. I'll go back into the details of how I fix the audio later on, but right now let me just keep going on AMD. And so I'm a little bit divided on how useful the X470 is, as well as a Ryzen processor, the new Zen Plus architecture. First, there is no noticeable differences between the X370 powered motherboard and the X470. So even though the X470 just hit the market almost a year after the X370, there's nothing, not an inch of a difference. Whatever you could do on the X370, you can do on the X470, and whatever you can do on the X470, you can do on the X370. So in a nutshell, whatever processor was working on the X370 will be working on the X470. They are front and backward compatible. So the Ryzen first generation can work on both platforms. Now, the only two distinctions that AMD tried to assert is the fact that there's a better RAM frequency performance on the X470. We're jumping from 2667 megahertz to 2000.9, 2.9 gigahertz. And they're introducing something called MI memory management. And please do. Okay, thank you, Prevo, for that very nice comment. So where was I? Yeah, so AMD is trying to tell us they did some new stuff on the X470, but don't be fooled. There's nothing, absolutely nothing new. So if you have an X370, do not change it. You're in very good hands. If you have Crosshair 6 or something like this, stay there. And if you are on the market for an upgrade, I would still go for X370 because their prices are going down, obviously. And again, there are just no differences. The difference of performances between the two is completely inexistent. And that's very relevant, specifically knowing that the new Zen Plus architecture will also run with X370 powered motherboard. It's not limited to the X470 motherboards. Yeah, no, you're right. No, actually, if I may, Prevo, I will disagree with you. The Z170 and Z270 jump was pretty significant. We saw the Optane Ready implementation giving us amazing performances on M.2 solid state drive, and we went from mono to dual M.2 solid state drive applications. So it really matured the M.2 solid state drive stick technology. But where I would agree with you is a jump from Z270 to Z370, almost irrelevant increase of features, practically none. And yeah, I was very, very disappointed. The only thing the Z370 brought us is a compatibility with Coffee Lake, which in itself is a little bit dishonest, knowing that Coffee Lake could be backward compatible. But here, between the X370 and X470, if you open the chipsets, you're dealing with the same animal. Absolutely, there's no PCIe improvement, the same number of USB, everything is the same. And I will make a specific video for that. Hey, Kesmes, what's up? Taz, my man, what up? Lucas, I'm here too. Yeah, it's good to have everybody back here. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it's good to be back on, you know. So I'm preparing a bunch of nice reviews. I'm also preparing new brands such as an Acer laptop review. Yes, the very first of its kind. And believe me, there are surprises there. But going back onto the AMD topic, so my recommendation to you is if you're AMD fanboy, you stay with the X370 and, you know, completely avoid and ignore the X470 if possible. Now, here's the thing. Here's where it's getting excited. The new Ryzen 2700, I'm very divided, even more than for the X470. The new so-called 2 series is confusing because it is not the Ryzen 2 architecture we're waiting for. It's the Zen Plus architecture, right? And what it does is change the lithography, the manufacturing process from 14 nanometer, from the first generation of Ryzen, to 12 nanometer. And other than that, we're dealing with the same architecture. We're dealing with the same amount of thread. You know, if you look at the Ryzen 2700X and the 1700X, they have the same amount of L1, L2, and L3 cache. They have the same amount of physical cores and threaded cores. And where the difference is, of course, is the frequency. Right? You're going to gain about 250 megahertz from the 1700X to the 2700X. 1 minute. And that's pretty cool. That's a lot of more frequency, but it doesn't account for the jump of performances because the 2700X is effectively 35% more performant than the 1700X, and that's because of the shorter latency at the kernel level. So the processor can discuss and swap data much faster with the L1, L2 cache than it could with the 1700X, and that of course has to do with the MI, memory management. So in a nutshell, if you are on an X370 motherboard, maybe an upgrade if you have a 1600X. Sure, go for the 2600 or 2700X. It's only $30 more expensive than the first generation, and it'll give you a solid 20 to 30% increase of performances. But what's really important here, what's really interesting, is the fact that the real Ryzen 2, the real Zen 2 architecture, which will be released later on this summer or probably beginning of autumn, will probably impress all of us. And because the X470 has just been released now, it means that we are going to have Zen 2 architecture, which is compatible with the X370 motherboard as well. You catch my drift? Both of the X370 and X470 are compatible with first generation, the G series processors, the one who come with a Vega cores on it, the new Zen Plus architecture, and most likely will be compatible with the new Zen 2. So the X370 motherboard is your safest bet for performances against money, and for the very long run. I think it's going to be around for at least a year or two, and that's pretty cool. All right, so that's what I wanted to address you on today. Does anybody has question on this right now? Because if not, I'm going to jump on the 11 series of Nvidia, and I know there's a lot of buzz and a lot of people want to hear about it. So if you have any questions, let me drink my glass of water. It's so hot. It's so absolutely hot, by the way. Outside is probably 34, 35 degrees. I got spotlights all around me. I'm burning. It's 42 or 43 degrees in the room. I got like miners. I got video cards are running here, and no air condition, so it doesn't, mess up with the sound. Okay, no questions. Good to know. I am going to jump onto the 11 series and what it means for all of us. First, let me do this. There you go. All right. So Nvidia has more or less hinted that their new 11 series video cards will be released in July. And of course, a week or two ago, a bunch of leaks has been released online, giving us some of the specs as well as a price point at which the 1180 in particular would be released. And it was very interesting because I do believe that the leak is genuine, I don't know how you say it, and it will be, to say, quite accurate compared to the final data, but here it goes. We are going to deal with video cards which are equipped with GDDR6 RAM for the first time. They will be able to run much faster processors with more CUDA cores, higher frequencies, and outputs much more teraflops than the previous one. And the 1118 itself should be able to outperform the 1080 Ti today for $699. This is a price point who's been leaked, $699, meaning that the current video cards are on the market, well, should be depreciating quite quickly, but not so fast, because there's a lot of rumors that the new generations, the 11 series from Nvidia, will not be mining friendly. They will simply be blocked all the way up to December, and you will not be able to mine anything with them. That's a rumor behind it. And so the current 1070, 1080 might gain in value surprisingly. So for gamers, I think that's going to be an amazing incremental and leap forward into the technology, and gaming is going to be amazing. We'll be able to create more dense virtual reality games and headsets which can fully take advantage of it. The Titan XP is different because it is based on the GP102, but also on the Quattro architecture. So, what the best way I would put things, if you remember, I did a review of the 1080 Ti last year. If you look at the 1080 Ti and the Titan XP, you will see that both of those video cards are extremely comparable in terms of performances, right? You're not going to get much more performances out of a Titan XP. So if the 1080 outperforms the 1080 Ti, it will probably outperform the Titan XP as well. That's one interesting point. But where I'm more reserved on the whole Shazam is the fact that the crypto mining world is up for a serious renewal. If Nvidia really shuts the door to crypto miners, AMD will be more than happy to produce new generation of video card which will take those large swaths of the market. And interestingly, and that's just me speculating, I think that AMD will be waiting a solid few weeks, even a month after the 11 series is released to see how those cards, how Nvidia will perform on crypto miners. And if they do poorly, or if they do block the drivers as rumored, then AMD will take the occasion as usual and provide the crypto miners with really awesome cards. So that's something who's of concern. So that's something we can take a look. And I will point out of this broadcast if it does happen on my next reviews. Now, there's something else was very interesting to me, and that's regarding the crypto mining community. If Nvidia does not lock their drivers and we can mine the 1180s and 1170s as much as we want, obviously we will release a lot of hash into Zcash, Ethereum, and other currencies, because don't make any mistake, the 1180 should be able to produce Zcash wise at least 800 sol per second, without any overclocking. So what's going to happen is difficulty will be rising. I do expect prices of Zcash to go really, really high as difficulty shoot up the sky. And it's going to get us even closer to the ice age of Ethereum and the Casper released. So we will not be able to mine Ethereum anymore. That's what Casper, the new Casper architecture means for Ethereum. We're not going to be able to mine it directly. What we'll do is we will move from, how do you call this? A proof of work to a proof of stake. Proof of stake, meaning that we're not going to mine Ethereum directly to get Ether, but what we will do is process all the different interactions and transfers on the mainnet Ethereum network and get rewarded for that. So less mining and much lower rewards. So I think we are right at the dawn of something very special in the cryptocurrency world. A lot of the regulation is behind us. The new video cards are definitely steering a lot of rumors and emotions, but I really do believe that Nvidia will be changing a lot of things for a lot of those altcoins mining, and AMD will be jumping on it. Do we have any questions regarding that particular topic? I'm going to give you a minute because I've been talking for a while and I am thirsty. All right, one more thing I wanted to address is, yes, I have been much slower in producing videos lately, and that's because I'm still waiting for a lot of my gear to come from Ankara. My container full of stuff is over there, and it's gonna take me some time until it reaches here. And I'm also moving again from a house to another. It's been an absolute nightmare. I love Lebanon. I lived in Lebanon before. I love Beirut, but there are a lot of problems you have to deal with. Internet is definitely not on par. And right now I'm actually uploading through my mobile phone because the ADSL is so low. I think we have 4 megabit per second unlimited with half a mega in upload. So I'll let you imagine this. But yeah, it's been quite difficult. But the new house should give me all the space I need to produce and to make as many videos as I really want. Okay, so I don't want to take too much of your time. If there's no other questions, I'd rather to keep doing smaller live casts and broadcast once a week and go back to a weekly basis and, you know, making them for 45 minutes and just talk forever. So yeah, if that's it, I'm super happy to have a nice sound equipment. That's one thing always bothered me in the past, is I knew you had difficulties listening to me. So yeah. One more thing. I want to thank Diane Fadel for helping me out, Rami, Zulflu, and Layla, as usual, as well as Osgur and all those people. You recognize yourself, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you for helping me out around here. That'll be really cool. One question, 1 minute. Efe, Ankara Live Army. Hey, what's up, Efe? Prevoluca, we've heard about PCIe 4 and 5. When graphic cards will be made for the speeds? It seems like it won't be this year. Albano, 1180 Ti is compatible with Ryzen Threadripper and Asus X470. I'm going to start with Albano. Yes, of course, the 1180 Ti will be compatible all the way down to the PCIe 2.0 generations. Even if it won't work optimally, it'll be compatible all the way down there. So you'll be able to operate your 1180 Ti on rather old motherboard all the way, probably motherboards who are 7-8 years old should be able to run it, no problem. Again, not at its full optimal potential, but it will be able to run. PCIe 4 and 5, man, you're talking about jumping 1 or 2 full generations, and that's going to take a couple of years. I think that before we see PCIe 4, we're going to need to deal with the bus memory limits. Our buses and the available lanes are still very, very below what we really need right now. For example, the only motherboard / processor gives us a decent amount of PCIe lanes right now, even in second generation, even third or second generation, is a Threadripper with anywhere between 40 and 60 PCIe lanes. Even the X299 based motherboards have issues with it. Of course, they will give you more PCIe lanes, but for a ridiculous amount of price. So I would definitely look at the Threadripper as a solution. Now to jump on 4 and 5, what kind of processor can swap that much data to be able to feed the PCIe 4? So I think that there's a real problem of bottleneck at the processor level. And when we get something as a 10 nanometer lithography and production scale, then yes, that would make more sense. Did you buy the new Ryzen? No, I did not buy it, as they sent me one, and that's what I'm filming right now. I'm playing around. I got a 2700X, and it's a good processor. It's a great processor. I'm a little bit disappointed on the gaming performances. I could not see a big of a jump from the 1700X. It's very similar. I did not see the big wow effect, but I did experience a significant amount of performance gain on Adobe Photoshop, on Adobe Premiere, on more processing and working tasks. Not so much on the gaming. And for the gaming, I'm not gonna blame it on them. I simply think that it's not what those processors were meant to, because the gaming will go directly on the video cards. It's more there to support a lot of stuff, but not so much. You're not gonna experience a great amount of difference on the gaming front. So again, I'd rather stay on the Ryzen first generation. If prices drop a lot, 1800X will provide about 75 or 85% of the performances. So if it's half price, this is where I would stay for now, specifically knowing that the Ryzen 2 is right around the corner. Be careful. The Ryzen 2700X is not the Ryzen 2. It's a Zen Plus architecture. It will take, so Luca is saying, it will take a few years for studios to make their software optimized for more than 4 cores. Right, and I think that more and more we see that the serious software developers are doing scalable architectures. Their engines are able to deal with either 4, 6, or 8. You don't need updates as we used to, and that's pretty exciting. And I'll give you an example. For example, if you look at the definition or the resolution of video games, right now it's easy for any video game to propose a 1K, 2K, or 4K definition resolution. But what if we were to take, I don't know, Liberty 2 or Doom and put it on a 10K system, right? Put a bunch of bunch of screens and do a real 10K system like Linus Tech did. It will work. It will scale itself to the highest available resolution. Of course, the texture will be a little bit more degraded because the density is not what it should be, but it will work. So I think that softwares will do are doing this very same with the number of threads. Because when you have a Threadripper who can give you, 32 threads, 16 cores physical and 32 threaded, it's not a lot of software are right now optimized for that number of cores, let alone the i9 from X299. So that's something that's going to change. Don't forget one more thing. December, we will see a new Intel processor hitting the market, either late December and early January. So Coffee Lake is already at the end of its run. I'm saying this, we're still 6 months, but the Coffee Lake is right in the middle of its lifespan, and we're going to see the Z470s and the new, I think it was Ice Lake. I'm going to check this out. I think it was Ice Lake who's going to come up, and the first 10 nanometer lithography hitting the market. And that's going to mean a lot of things, meaning core count. I do not think that a higher core count is going to help us so much right now. I think that getting smaller lithography will help us with higher frequencies, better management of memory, like we just saw with the with the Ryzen 2700X. Because the lithography went from 14 to 12 nanometer, then you have smaller latencies between the processor and its kernel memory, meaning that we gain right here and there just by reducing this latency 3 or 5% performances on the broader market, and the broader market of application. So I think that We are going to see a very exciting 2019. We are also going to eat a very hard to go around wall, if I may. We're not going to be able to climb that wall easily. The 10 nanometer lithography is the limit of classical mechanics, of classic physics. So anything under 10 nanometer will be also interesting to see. And I think we're going to be stuck there for 5 years, because anything under, you are on the limit between the classical physics and quantum physics. So atoms are not as stable, and classic computers don't know how to run and to compute quantum issues as fast as mechanical ones, if I make any sense, if you understand what I mean. But I'm not going to go in there because my understanding is very limited, and that's not what this channel is about. Anybody from Lebanon? I've been meeting a lot of people here. I don't know if I got people today from Beirut to say hi to, but anyways. All right. Hey, Simply, always nice to have you. Gaming performance depends on their optimization. Yes, we saw that with the Vega 64 and with Wolfenstein New Blood. Was it New Blood or Old Colossus? I think it was New Blood. And the fact that it was optimized for Vega architecture made a world of difference. And I mean a world. Simply, you came a little late. This is almost the end of my broadcast. So do you have anything for us to keep this thing going? I need more water, man. Dude, I'm so happy that you can hear me. You have no idea how annoyed I was yesterday. I deleted all the videos. What to do with this? No way. Simply, you were in Lebanon? What year? Dude, do you have any friends here? Oh man, that's a small world. Why were you in Lebanon? Were you in high school or working here? What's the deal? Okay, we have a 7 watcher, 8 watching. Oh my God, I thought that was the end of the podcast. People are joining. Dude, welcome to the new watchers. You can hear me now. Yeah, he wants to switch. Well, okay, talking about giveaways, I promised you a giveaway last month, and the move made it very difficult for me to do so. So yeah, I'm gonna look into my video cards. I have like 50 video cards who are mining. So the easiest way for me to be good on my word is to get one of those cards and get it out there. Again, simply, you're not saying why. Tantan, what do you hope to see or experience at the upcoming event? The one in Istanbul, or what are you talking about? Because yes, as you know, 10th of May, I will be in Istanbul. If you're there, I'll be officially covering the 10th anniversary of the Asus formula. And so it's a ROG event, and I'm expecting a lot of fun. I always love doing cosplays. Not myself, I love filming people doing cosplays as always. It's fun to see people putting themselves out there dressed silly and half naked. It's always fun to see how they react to cameras, because usually people are very introverted in life, and then as soon as they put the costumes, become those superheroes. I really like that. CM1, so that's French for very, very small. Oh my God, so your parents, I guess, simply were living in Lebanon, right? Tantan, where are you right now? Where is Tantan? It's so hard to call you Tantan and not Smile. It sounds like Tintin. Yeah, no, Istanbul is a fun place to be, and I'm expecting, I will be vlogging a little bit, either on a live broadcast from my phone, or I'm going to do something from my hotel room and broadcast and try to edit and upload, dirty upload as I call it, right in, right away. Simply, mais c'est un pays extrêmement raciste, et comme je suis métis, on se foutait de notre gueule partout où on allait. Well, I'm not going to translate this, but yeah, I hear you, Simply. There are definitely weird people here as well. Wow, 10 watchers. I was going to go away. I already said everything I wanted to say, so I'm just going to make up from here. The reason why yesterday, and some of you heard me on the previous broadcast, but the reason why I had such bad sound quality here is because, well, simply said, all of Lebanon has no standards. So meaning that the old building I'm in, the electricity is not grounded. So if there's any smaller contact on the fridge or anything, I get electrocuted almost twice a week. I'm not kidding. Every time I'm trying to take clothes out of the washing machine, I get super shocked and everything. And so when I did put the microphone into the computer, I did not realize, but the computer was suffering, and I heard all those noises around me. And you guys were nice enough to let me know. But yeah, it was really annoying. So I had to buy all that. I have like a bunch of equipment around me to make it work, but dude, like, you know, everything. The best way to put it, Beirut is a great place, a great country, beautiful things, but everything is 5 times more complicated than anywhere else in the world. I had a diesel car in Turkey and in Europe. And when they transferred me to Lebanon, when my work transferred me here, I just realized that, oh my God, diesel is actually forbidden in Lebanon. There's a law in Lebanon who says that it is forbidden to import diesel engines. And that completely blew my mind. So I had to scramble and sell my car in 2 months. Like I had to find a buyer, and I had like this huge, brand new, my car was a year and a half old. It was a BMW X3 2015, right? So it was like 18 months old, and I had to sell it at a big loss so that I could buy a new one here and get myself going. But and even buying a car here, it's not that easy. Like, you know, all the engines here are EU4, so even brand new, 0 kilometers, the car is 2018, all that, it's a EU4. Right, that's a good comment, Luca. First, hi to East Coast USA, South Carolina. It's an awesome state. I don't know if you can hear this. You hear this? That's election week in Lebanon. I don't know if you know, but like the old Lebanon thing is happening. For 9 years, the old government was in deadlock because they could not, you know, agree. And this week, next weekend, you hear that? That's people all around the building, you know, doing like political stuff. And so like next week they're gonna go and vote for a new parliament. First time in a decade. So yeah, it's a big thing here. Anyhow, so yeah, South Carolina, awesome place. I love it. Obviously, I'm thrilled to have you, Tantan, all the way from South Carolina. 50 GPUs with no ground. That is why I have installed a $3,000 live UPS system. So my GPUs are not taking electricity from the grid. They are taking the electricity directly from a UPS, but not like, I have to explain. It's a live UPS, meaning it comes from the batteries directly. It doesn't take it from the state, from the government electricity system, because there's like 2 or 3 power cuts a day, just so you know, and they last for a long time. On avait des horaires pour l'électricité. You're entertaining guy. Are you gonna make this live stream a regular event? Yes, I want to. It's been like, but I promise you, like getting a screen here was difficult, like a good screen. It's super expensive. You know, I had to buy everything back, even though everything is coming in my container. So yes, I will do a regular event from now on. But keep in mind, I have to move again in 3 weeks to a new house. So I'll try to keep it going. My big goal is this week, by weekend, to release a new video and try to release a video every 2 weeks and then bring it back down to 1 week. But I appreciate the fact that people are watching me, keep watching me, and the channel is growing to what, 2,150 subs? I mean, it's a little bit humbling for me knowing that there's 2,100 something people who are interesting to see what I have to say about life and computer stuff, you know, and it definitely helps me to be taken more seriously by manufacturers. I actually, you know, people start to send me more stuff, and I return everything. I don't want to be sponsored, so I return everything back to the sender. But I think I kept a couple of things like a year ago, but nothing major. So yeah, no, I usually send everything back, and the fact that we have more and more people in our community, it's kind of helping a lot. It's helping everybody and myself, I hope. La démocratie au Liban, ça a changé. Well, that's another discussion. At night we could hear gunshots in the streets. Yeah, that didn't change. It's still a little bit, it's still a bit heated here somewhere. And I'll tell you, I am in a beautiful neighborhood called Ashrafi. It's a gorgeous neighborhood. and it's like in a more calm side of town. But I think like within the first week we arrived, there was like a shooting going on, like a major one on in one of the camps not too far from here, and that was a harsh reminder that yeah, things are happening here. And we do keep an eye open on a lot of things, you know. I mean, it's a tech channel, but we do have a lot of people from our office, the security officers, who are checking into us, who are, you know, they have to visit the house, the neighborhood where we live in, and we make sure we're not doing anything stupid. You know, we're trying to be quite reasonable. I enjoy watching you talk about things, not just Bitcoin and mining. Well, 1010, I'm here to comply. I've been watching a lot of U.S. shows lately, like specifically like Stephen Colbert and Bill Maher. I don't know if you know those people, but I've been watching a lot of them. It's really entertaining. All right. Okay, so guys, anything else before I go? I said I would go 20 minutes ago. At minute 15, we're minute 35, and I'm still going. So if you have any other questions, now is the time. I'll give you 30 seconds, and I will be resting my voice. Let me check on our stats. So we had a few people today. That's really cool. Like right now we have one message a minute. We're 8 people watching me. That's pretty cool. I'm very happy to see that. Tantan. Well, I hear gunshot in the town I live in too. Not even military. In morons with their... It's so funny for me to hear that coming from the States. I mean, I know it's true, especially when you're in South Carolina. But it's so weird because here, of course, when you have weddings, if you go in certain neighborhoods, people are shooting, and you know, not just a gunshot, as they go take, you know, AK-47s. So it's so strange to see that in America, you know, which is also part of my home country. I do have a house over there, and it's very strange to hear that people are very similar, even though they don't like each other. You know, if you take an American and take the people here, the ones who are shooting up in the weddings, they're not very compatible in principle, but very friendly to each other when they do meet. I saw some Americans coming here. They usually have a great time. Check out the YouTuber named AVE. He's one of my favorites. He's a funny guy. I will, man. I'll check it out right now. Luca, Albano, you still there, or you've been fired for good? Yeah, so that's Albano, our dear Italian friend. And Albano, if you're in Rome when I'm there, don't forget I'll be in Rome in about 3 weeks from now for a couple of days. So it'd be super fun to meet you up. All right, guys. My voice is breaking. I promise you, it's so hot. It's not that I don't want to stay. It's just that I'm boiling. I'm absolutely boiling here. I'm gonna take a cold shower to keep me going. But if that's that, I'm gonna call it quits. Oh God, there's more people watching. Well, welcome to the new watchers, the new viewers. I'm very touched. Anybody I know, anybody I don't know, any new viewers is always welcome to add a chat. We're not a big YouTube channel where we have like 600 viewers and I cannot read anything. Please jump in and entertain us. It'll be fun to see. Yeah, agreed with Stanton. People are similar, more so than they like to think sometimes. And, you know, I've been very hard with my friends here in Lebanon. I'm giving them such a hard time sometimes. But, yeah, we're very similar. All right, guys. Well, I got to go too, okay? So I love you all. It's been 40 minutes of your day and my time. I say we call it quit. We are Wednesday, I think. So let's do it next Wednesday. And I really hope you had a great 1st of May. You know, go back on the beginning of this channel, of this video to see what I was talking about. But I love you all. And I hope you have a great remaining of the week. So now, looking good as usual. I'm going to try to stop this broadcast. God, I look hairy. I need to really cut all this hair. I love you. I love you. I hope you're going to have yourself a great remaining of the week. I will try to upload something by this weekend, which I totally doubt. But anyway, I'll give it a shot. Peace out. Love you. Stay cool.